Episode 1. The Itch for More. They say happiness isn't found in what you have, but in how much you appreciate it. But what happens when a man stops appreciating and starts comparing? This is the story of Michael, a man who had everything he needed, yet convinced himself it wasn't enough. Every morning looked the same. Angela humming to herself, the kids rushing to get ready for school, and Michael sitting quietly, pretending to listen. On the outside, it was peace. On the inside, he felt stuck. Same job, same house, same routine. He started wondering if this was really all life had to offer. Old classmates were traveling the world. New cars, fancy homes, smiles that looked effortless. And for the first time, Michael began comparing his behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. How come they get to live like that? I've worked hard too, Michael thought to himself. What started as curiosity turned into envy, and envy that slowly poisons gratitude. That's when she walked in, Tasha, new to the office, young, bold, and she made everyone in the room feel seen, especially Michael. "Hey, you're Michael, right? I've heard you're the guy who can fix any problem around here," Tasha said, smiling. He laughed. It had been a long time since someone looked at him like that. He didn't notice the danger, because temptation never looks dangerous in the beginning. It looks like admiration. It feels like excitement. It sounds like, finally, someone notices me. "Babe, can you put your phone down for one night? The kids barely see you lately," Angela asked softly. "I'm just checking something for work," Michael replied, sounding distant. Work? That was the new excuse. But the truth was, he just didn't want to talk. He was too busy living inside the what ifs. What if he'd made different choices? What if there was something better out there? That night, as his wife slept peacefully beside him, he was already dreaming of another life. A life where he felt wanted, respected, excited again. The itch for more had begun, and it wouldn't go away easily. Days turned into weeks. Their conversations grew longer. Their laughs grew louder. And that feeling, that spark, made Michael feel alive again. He told himself it was innocent, but deep down he knew something was shifting. "She just gets me. We talk about life, dreams, things I haven't talked about in years," Michael said in a voiceover. That's how the enemy works. Not by taking everything at once, but by offering small pieces of what you think you're missing. Attention, compliments, escape. Angela waited every night a little longer. Dinner for 4 turned into dinner for 3, then 2, then 1. And the laughter that once filled the house was replaced by silence and suspicion. "Lord, please don't let me lose him. Please remind him of what we built," Angela prayed quietly. But Michael couldn't hear her prayers. Not yet. He was too distracted by the sound of temptation calling his name. He started changing. New haircut, new cologne, new attitude. Angela noticed, but didn't recognize the man she married. The more she tried to love him, the more he pulled away. "I just need a break. I need space to think," Michael said, his voiceover expressing his need for distance. But what he really wanted was freedom from the very life he once prayed for. It was just one moment, a touch, a glance, and suddenly every excuse he ever told himself vanished. "Tasha," Michael whispered. "Michael, I," Tasha said softly. That's how it began. Not with passion, but with permission. Permission to betray everything he'd built. And that's where part 1 ends. Where temptation first takes root. Before the lies, before the guilt, before the fall. Michael believed happiness was waiting somewhere else. But the truth? The grass only looks greener until you realize it's growing over someone else's pain. In the next episode, Michael steps fully into the other side, the side that promises more, but costs everything. Because what begins as an escape always ends as a trap. Episode 2. The New Temptation, the narrator began softly. When a man starts changing for someone else, he tells himself it's self-improvement. But sometimes, it's preparation for destruction. Michael thought he was just refreshing his life, when really he was stepping deeper into temptation. "Oh, come on, you have to admit, that's funny," Tasha exclaimed. Yeah, I guess it is, Michael said, smiling. She laughed in a way that made the whole room feel lighter. She listened when he spoke, and she looked at him, really looked, as if he were the only man in the world. It was the kind of attention he hadn't felt in years, and it became addicting. Still here working hard? You're such a perfectionist, Tasha asked with a smiley. Trying to keep up with you, Michael replied with a wink. The messages started harmless, a few jokes, compliments, late-night laughs. But what starts as, we're just friends, can turn into, I can't stop thinking about you faster than you realize. Hey, it's getting late. Are you still at work? Angela asked. Yeah, just wrapping up some reports. Don't wait up, Michael replied, his voice distant. He didn't hear the disappointment in her voice. He didn't notice the tears she wiped away quietly. Because when temptation has your attention, everything else fades into the background, even love. I don't get how someone like you isn't living it up. You've got charm, brains, that mysterious, quiet thing going on, Tasha said. Her words hit him like a spark. Angela used to say things like that once, before bills, kids, and life wore them both down. Now he was hearing it again, from someone new. Maybe I've just been too comfortable for too long, Michael said, smirking. Comfort can be dangerous. It kills excitement, Tasha teased. That one line, comfort kills excitement, would echo in his head for weeks. He started hitting the gym again, started buying new shirts, new shoes. Tasha noticed every change. Angela noticed too, but she didn't recognize the man standing in front of her anymore. You're different lately. Are you okay? Angela asked. I'm fine, Angie. Just trying to better myself, Michael replied. Better himself. But for whom? You ever feel like life just got too quiet? Like you're living, but not really living? Tasha asked softly. Michael sighed and replied, every day. Tasha said, I used to feel that way too, until I decided to do something about it. Her words felt like permission. Permission to break free. Permission to chase the spark, no matter the cost. In a low tone, the narrator continued, one glance, one choice. That's all it takes to change the course of a life. Whispering, Tasha said, you deserve to be happy, Michael. And just like that, happiness became the excuse for betrayal. They said it was just dinner. They said it was just friends. But the truth, they both knew exactly what they were doing. I'm not a bad person. I don't feel alive anymore, Michael said in a voiceover. That's the lie every man tells himself before he falls. He mistakes excitement for love, sex, and escape for freedom. Who is she? Angela whispered, hurt. Her heart sank, not because she didn't see it coming, but because she prayed it wouldn't be true. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just looked at him with eyes that asked one question he couldn't answer. Why? So that's it? After everything? After all we've built? Angela asked. I just need space. Please. Don't make this harder than it already is, Michael said coldly. He walked out that door thinking he was chasing happiness, but what he really left behind was everything that ever mattered. For a while it all seemed perfect. New love, new place, new energy. He thought he'd found peace, but peace built on lies never lasts, because when you build happiness on broken hearts, it always collapses. God, I don't hate him. Just please don't let this be the end of our story, Angela said through tears. Even in heartbreak, she prayed for him. But sometimes, God lets you lose everything to remind you what truly matters. And that's where part 2 ends. The moment the line was crossed, Michael thought he found excitement. He thought he found freedom. But what he didn't realize was that the same thing that felt like heaven at first would soon feel like hell. In the next episode, you're on the fall. Farmer 1, everything Michael thought he wanted 3 begins to fall apart. Because the grass that looks greener 3 always hides the roots of regret. Episode 3, The Fall. Michael got what he thought he wanted. A new woman, a new life. And for a short while, it felt good. But the problem with starting over on broken trust is that sooner or later, the cracks begin to show.
So this is really what you want.
It's for the best. We both deserve to be happy.
He said the words like a man signing a business deal. No emotion, no hesitation. But as he walked away from the only woman who ever truly knew him, something deep inside him broke. He just didn't feel it yet.
Finally, our own place. No more secrets.
For the first few weeks, it was perfect. Take-out dinners, long nights, no responsibilities. It felt like freedom. But freedom without peace always turns into chaos.
You forgot to pay the internet again, didn't you?
I've got bills from the house, child support.
Your past isn't my problem, Michael.
And there it was, the first crack. The honeymoon was fading, and reality was setting in. Angela carried her pain with grace. She worked 2 jobs, prayed every night, and refused to speak badly of him to the children. She let God handle what she couldn't control. And though her heart still ached, her peace was returning, piece by piece.
Hey, Dad, we're busy right now. Talk later.
That later never came. His children still loved him, but they no longer trusted him, and that hurt worse than any argument.
Michael, you've been slipping lately. You okay?
He wasn't okay. His focus was gone, his reputation fading. Even Tasha started noticing his change.
You're not the same man I met.
Maybe I'm finally seeing who I really am.
And for the first time, he said something true. The fights became routine. Jealousy, bills, blame. What once felt like paradise had turned into another prison. Only this time, he built it himself.
I left everything for you.
I never asked you to.
Her words hit like a knife, because deep down, he knew she was right. One by one, the pieces of his new life began to crumble. He lost his job. Tasha moved out. The apartment grew silent, the kind of silence that screams. He sat in his car, engine off, watching through the window. Inside, Angela and the kids were having dinner. Laughter drifted through the glass. The same laughter he once called noise.
That was my home.
He wanted to knock, to say he was sorry, but pride kept him frozen. Sometimes God doesn't punish you by striking you down. He lets you live long enough to see everything you traded away.
I thought I was chasing happiness. But happiness doesn't destroy families. It doesn't break vows. I'm sorry I forgot who I was supposed to be.
He folded the letter but never mailed it. He wasn't sure they'd read it, or if he even deserved for them to. Lord Anand, thank you for healing me. And please, wherever Michael is, show him mercy. While he was drowning in regret, she was learning forgiveness. That's the difference between guilt and grace. One chains you, the other frees you. He realized he'd traded everything priceless for something temporary. He chased a feeling and lost a family. He confused excitement for purpose. Now all that remained was regret. And that's where part 3 ends. The fall of a man who thought he could find joy in someone else's garden. He had the world in his hands and let it slip through his fingers. But even rock bottom can be the beginning if you decide to look up. In the next episode, in the empty house, Michael faces the silence of what's left behind and begins to learn that sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself. When everything else disappears, you finally hear the sound of your own choices. For Michael, that sound was silence. No laughter, no phone calls, no good mornings, just the quiet hum of a refrigerator in an empty house. Tasha was gone. The job was gone. The money he thought would make him happy had vanished like smoke. All that remained were memories that wouldn't stop replaying.
How did it get this bad?
Every corner reminded him of someone he hurt. He used to blame everyone else. Angela for being too serious, the kids for being noisy, life for being unfair. Now he saw the truth. He was the one who stopped watering his own garden. He didn't hate the man. In fact, he was grateful someone was giving his children the stability he destroyed. But watching another man do his job as a father, that was a pain words couldn't describe. He kept one plant alive, or at least tried to. Some days he forgot to water it. Some days he overdid it, just like his marriage. Neglect, then desperation. Either way, it withered.
I know saying sorry won't fix what I broke, but I need you to know I never stopped loving you, even when I lost my way.
He hovered over send for a long time. Then close the laptop. Maybe tomorrow. He hadn't been to church in years. He used to mock people who talked about forgiveness, until he became the one who needed it most. When the choir sang Amazing Grace, he couldn't sing. He just bowed his head and wept. Day by day, he started doing small things right, not to earn back what he lost, but to learn how to be decent again. Sometimes grace doesn't rescue you in a moment. It rebuilds you one quiet act at a time.
I understand now that the grass wasn't greener. It was just new, and I destroyed our garden chasing it. I'm sorry, not for leaving, but for forgetting how blessed I was to stay.
She didn't reply, but she smiled through tears, because the man she once loved was finally honest. He still lived alone, still paid his debts, still faced the echoes of his past. But for the first time in years, he wasn't running. He was learning to stand still, to feel, to heal. And that's where part 4 ends, not in triumph, but in truth. Michael finally understood that emptiness isn't the end. It's the space where God can start filling you again. In the next episode, The Lesson, the man who lost everything begins to rebuild, not for recognition, not for reward, but to prove that broken soil can grow again if you choose to water it. Episode 5, The Lesson. It's been 3 years since Michael lost everything. 3 years since the day he walked away from the life he thought wasn't enough. He used to call it punishment. Now he calls it grace. The same hands that once broke his home now build things again. Little things. Tables, shelves, birdhouses for the neighbors. He learned that when you create instead of chase, peace finds you quietly.
You're up early again, huh? You've changed, Michael.
I had to. The old me, he didn't know what he had.
He wasn't trying to impress anyone anymore. He just wanted to do right. Quietly, consistently. For years, he'd written letters he never sent. But this one was addressed to him.
Dad, I got your note. Mom said you've been doing better. I just wanted to say I forgive you. We all do.
He didn't know how long he cried, but every tear felt like another piece of him coming back home. Angela had remarried, and Michael had accepted that chapter was closed. But forgiveness doesn't always mean reunion. Sometimes it means peace, and peace was enough.
Hey, don't burn the burgers this time.
There was laughter again, not the same as before, but honest and real.
I thought the grass was greener somewhere else, but all I found was dry soil and regret. If you've got something good, water it, love it, because sometimes you don't know what enough is until it's gone.
His voice trembled, not with pride, but with purpose. The same story that broke him was now helping others heal. He never became rich again, never got the fame he dreamed of, but he finally found something priceless. Contentment. The garden wasn't much. A few rows of flowers, a handful of vegetables. But to Michael, it was sacred ground. Every bloom was a reminder. What's lost can grow again if you learn from the drought. He once thought life was about getting more. More money, more excitement, more freedom. But more had cost him everything. Now all he wanted was peace, and he finally had it.
The grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it.
And that was the lesson. The story of a man who lost everything chasing what he didn't need, only to discover that the life he left behind was the blessing he'd been searching for all along.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.